Hi, pretty people. Today we're talking about my current obsession with field trips. I think this is something that I feel everybody can think about and reflect because I remember in elementary school having gone on our field trips and having like our parents sign these forms, and it was kind of like a hyped up thing for the week, right? So where we would learn about a concept and then it would build like anticipation, and it would you would load us up with like prior knowledge, to be able to go ahead and like go do the thing we're doing. Like there was one time that I remember we went to the zoo, and I'm probably sure we learned about animals or we're talking about biology. I mean, most of the time, academic field trip, quote unquote, is just to further the education of learning, to like give some substance and form memorability to the concepts we're learning. And I think we should do more things like that rather than like instead of it just being concept based, like experience based. I don't know. That just might be me because I'm a kinesthetic learner. I remember taking a test during my AP Stats in my senior year, and being really enlightened to learn that I like learning through experience. I'm not like alone in this as well. Like obviously, I think we're all visual learners at some point. Um, there is a point in where I think it's Aristotle. Aristotle, I'm learning about this right now, currently in my philosophy class. But it's the idea that seeing is like the paramount sense of how we make sense of the world. So I do think that most people are visual learners, but I think in tandem with that, we can also be like tangible learners, like experiential, meaning we need to go out there and learn. I mean, anybody can learn anything as long as they do it enough times, right? So like memory, executive function, like these things are really um, uh, they're intertwined. I don't think they're mutually exclusive. That's why I think that field trips are like as much as beneficial as they are in elementary school, like in developmental years, as they are in high school. And why am I even talking about this so like excessively? Well, I just feel so like heavily like inclined to talk about it just because I don't remember doing any field trips in high school, and it was just really sad. Like I did high school during COVID, or like the ending of COVID, like 2021, 2022. That was like my freshman year, and I was coming straight out of like homeschooling. I mean, everybody was technically homeschooled because of the pandemic, but like I did this thing called like with classical learning, so like I had to learn Latin for it was like a whole thing. But anyways, I came out of that and I went to high school, and I think the depiction of high school in like movies and media, it's really like romanticized, and it's not all it seems to be. But I did have fun in high school, and I appreciate it for what it is. Would I go back? No. Would I redo it over again? No. I think that it's good for us not to be able to really relive like that time in our lives. And I think that if that was the most like fun and like important time in your life, it's kind of sad. And that's why I always preach to myself that I'm not gonna peak. Like I have not peaked yet. Like I barely lived. I'm only like fucking 18 years old. So there's not much that I've done yet, and there's a lot that I'm gonna do, and that's not sad. Like I think that's pretty hopeful to think about. Anyways, I don't remember doing a lot of field trips in high school, and mostly because of COVID, but also I feel like I just didn't put myself in the right classes. I hear a lot about my friends doing them, like they went to like zoos or like to the beach to like do conservation, which I'm kind of pissed about, which I will be getting into that. But I think the first instance of like a field trip that was mentioned to us was during my freshman biology class. We were supposed to go to Ahupua'a. That's like a Hawaiian fish pond, basically. They use it like so Ahupua'a, right? So like it's like a little. It is a fish pond. No, Ahupua'a is the situational. It's a local ia. Sorry, local ia. That's what they use as a fish farm. And basically, what the thing is if the fish is too small, then they can swim through like this gate, basically. But what they would do is they would have fish come in, and then they would feed them until they were too fat, and then when they were trying to swim out, then that's when you would eat them and catch them, and then that would also go back into like this idea of it's called aloha aina or malama aina, just taking care of the island and the place we were given. And I think that also helped with like distribution of food as well, because I feel like now there's a lot of like overfishing, so that just made sure that you weren't eating too much food, or like you weren't taking too much from like what you're given. Anyways, it was supposed to be something like really cool, really experiential for the class. I mean, I remember going there when I was like, I don't know, like in the 5th grade, but I don't know, I didn't remember it, right? Like, I guess it just wasn't that memorable. Like, I knew enough about it to like kind of remember it, you know what I mean? Like, it's like a memory, but like you're not thinking about that actively, right? And I'm like, it's a good reminder to go ahead and go experience things, especially for me, because that's my culture. Anyways, we were supposed to go to this thing, and we didn't, because it didn't get certified by like the school board, which I was really sad about. But I was like, okay, well, during freshman year there should be some other thing. There should be some, like, I feel like there's so many opportunities in biology, like just literally like the study of like life and ecosystems. Like, is this not something that we could do to like further understanding, rather than just looking at a textbook or watching a Discovery Channel video on YouTube? Or I will say there was one time I got to cut open a squid. It was really fun, and a crayfish, and then one of my friends cut up a baby pig. I could never do that. That's why I'm not a surgeon. Thankfully, we will continue to thank the Lord Jesus Christ for not giving me the drive to be a surgeon, because I am too disorganized for me to become a surgeon. Just imagine this as a surgeon. Anyways, I just thought there were going to be so much more opportunities to go out into the world and experience it academically, or like institutionally, like built into the course, and it just wasn't, and it was a little disappointing for me. But it's freshman year, right? So I was fairly optimistic that there would be other opportunities. So I just waited my turn, and honestly, it never really came. It was really disappointing for me as well. And it just hit even harder, like to home and like personally, because the next year, the same it was a different teacher, but like it was basically the same thing was advertised, and they actually got to do it. So it was a little bit bitter. Like, I was a little jealous, a little sour about it, because I kind of saw it as like, well, they got to do it, why didn't I get to do it? Especially it's the exact same course, and it's like it's the exact same opportunity. It just, I wasn't given it, And I don't know if that's, if that's good to feel that way, but that's just how I felt, Especially there was another one where it was in my geometry class. They got to go to the museum and look at geometrical patterns, which sounds really cool, right? I never got to do that. I think like the coolest thing we did in our class was like make polynomials in like graphing, and then we would like go out on like in the front of the school, or like wherever there was like these big slabs of concrete, and then take chalk, and then we could make it on, which I thought was cool. But it was really interesting because literally, like, not even an hour after we made like our little chalk designs on the little concrete slabs, like, it rained. So like by the time we went outside after class, like, it wasn't even there, so we can't even like say anything. And I'm like, what are you even gonna say that? Like, it's the rain's fault. Like, it's literally, like, it's not, and like I can't be mad at that, right? But it's just really frustrating, to go through a class and have like some sort of expectations for how you can be able to learn, especially because I have ADHD. I don't know if you could get that. I'm tweaking over here, but it's like disappointment, and I think that's something that I kind of just expected, especially during like my junior and senior year. Because freshman year I'm like optimistic. Sophomore year I had this class, and then it kind of just didn't go the way I wanted it to, and the expectation slowly dwindled. Like, it was negatively proportional, as it would say in statistics, and it was very much correlation and causation, to the point where I just kind of didn't. It's not that I didn't want to go on these field trips, right? It's just I guess maybe I prioritize differently. especially because I wanted to go to college, and I felt like maybe the classes that had the field trip experience weren't like challenging enough for me, even though I really was interested in them. Like, um, during my junior year, actually, they were offering a course. It was Intro to Zoology, and I loved watching like Wildcrats as a kid, or like pretending to like have animal powers, like not in a furry way, but like in like a Wildcrats, like Power Rangers type type beat. Anyways, I just really was into that. And I don't know if I wanted to be a zoologist, but like obviously still I'm a junior, so I'm like exploring my interests. I don't know. I felt more inclined to do like academically rigorous than like interest interest based, which I don't know. Would I do it again? No. Am I a little sad that I didn't do it? Yes. So I did I did honors physics, which I did great in. Yeah, I did really good in physics. I don't know, maybe just like the application of math, and like it was more physical, so we had to do a lot of like actual built projects rather than simulations, which I really enjoyed. But the intro to zoology would have just been a really good opportunity to be able to, like explore that interest academically that I never got to have, or never got to pursue. And this was the first year they were taking it, so I didn't have anybody really to ask about it other than like the teacher that was like teaching it. But I feel like that's kind of biased, right? It's like kind of asking like an author to talk about their book. It's like, hey, what do you think of this book that you wrote? I think they would be pretty biased to say like, oh, I like this is a really good book, like in the same way that, hey, asking the teacher how is this class? It's like, oh, well, we never taught it yet, but I'm expecting it to go really well. Like it just didn't seem like a good enough what do I want to say, comparison, or like a good enough insight into like what the class actually does. So I just didn't take it, and then they offered it again during my senior year, and I actually was gonna take it again, but at that point I didn't need a science credit, so I didn't. I know that's kind of like degenerate of me, but honestly, I wanted to do so many other things just because I felt more like pushed to go into like business, because I thought I was gonna get like a job or like do internships. I don't know what I was expecting, but like my senior year I kind of just not dropped the ball on a lot of things, but I made my schedule a little bit more free and open to like pick up projects. Did I do those projects? Like somewhat. I did get a job. I volunteer. I will say I volunteered more, and I got a job. Love it. But I don't know. It was just really interesting because I didn't do that class, the zoology class, and I had a few friends that did it, and they really enjoyed it. And that was one of the classes that, like I said, they went to like a coral reef, and I think they also went to the zoo and also the aquarium. It's fine. It's fine. I can do those things on my own time. I do that on my own time. It just would have been nice, when things happen, and it could have happened some way and another. I don't know. I feel like I think about that a lot, like the implications of my choices, and what would happen if I chose option B instead of A, or vice versa. Or like, what if I just choose like to, I don't know, do a completely other thing? Do I reminisce about it? No. Do I think about it? Yes. Does it haunt me? Yes. Am I gonna do anything about it? No. Well, I actually was looking at it volunteering at the aquarium here, but it's kind of a really rigorous application process. Not to say that's to deter anybody, but I feel like for the amount of vetting they're doing, I should get paid, But yeah, field trips. Field trips should be fun. Field trips should be required in a course, because I think that however your learning style is, it's always better to be able to do the thing you're learning than just talk about it. I think that's the episode. So, yeah, stay beautiful, Sai bao, stay young, beautiful, and oh my god, I love this.